How old are y'all?
12.
11.
11, 12? Y'all saw The Color Purple?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, what's your thoughts?
I like the movie. It's like, yeah.
You liked it? Did you like
Yeah, I like it.
it? Have y'all seen the older one?
I seen half of it.
Yeah, I ain't see that.
You ain't seen that one? All right. Is it, you think you can describe what you liked about it?
I liked like the parts where they were like singing and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, it sounded good.
Yeah. When there was like a whole bunch of sisters.
You like that part?
Yeah, and like they were singing in their like it was like, and then she left the house then she had a boyfriend.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I watched the old one.
Okay. You say which
Yeah.
one you seen?
The old one and the new one.
Oh, you seen both of them? Okay, all right. I got a question. How were the black men in the movie?
They like
What did the black man do? The one.
they
How
like
do you think they treated the women in the movie?
poorly.
They didn't treat them good at all.
Do you think that makes black men look good?
No, not at all.
No.
Okay, that the time period in the movie was during segregation. You know what that is, right? Did you see any bad white people in the movie?
No.
No.
Do you find that strange?
Yes.
Do you
Trying to
find
make
it-
the black people look bad.
Specifically who? Which black person looked bad?
Men.
Thank you. Who?
Man.
So do you think that's good for black men? Because who was the antagonist then in the movie?
The men.
The black man. Bro, stop touching.
All right, so how do you feel then that tons of black women are going to a movie where black men are the bad guy? How you think that's going to help their development of how black men really are? How you think their outlook on black men is going to be going forward if they're celebrating a movie where the black man is the enemy?
So like basically they gonna all think that all black men beat on their women.
What is that?
And did he just beat on her?
No, he like have physical.
Stuff with other women?
Yes.
And did he say like negative things about her in front of her and try to chase another woman right in front of her?
Yes.
So do you think that black women are gonna think that's what black men really do?
Yeah.
You think that's good?
No, not at all.
All right, how old are you?
22.
22. You seen The Color Purple?
Yes.
All right, did you like it?
Yes, I did like it.
What did you like about it?
Mainly I like the music.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a musical at first.
Okay.
And then when I got there, and I like the music mainly.
Okay, have you seen the original?
Yes, I have.
Do you like both, or is one you like more than other?
I like the original better.
Okay. All right. So, other than is that me or you? It must have been me. Other than the music, what did you like about it? Like, what about the plot or the characters? Did you like anything about that?
I like the story. I liked this. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. This is hard.
I
It's
know.
not hard, but it's just like I wasn't expecting to.
I know you
Okay,
wasn't.
I liked. I don't know. Remember her name, Fantasia.
Yeah.
Her. I like how the story, like, it was just basically just her. Like,
Okay.
she was the main character, and it was her life. Even she had supporting characters, but it all just revolved back around her.
And she did a good job.
She did a real good job.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. Do you know, and I'll tell you if you don't, but I just want to know, do you know the time period that The Color Purple covers?
No.
It covers from 1910 to 1940. And the reason I'm bringing that up is, did you notice who the bad guy or the antagonist of the movie was?
You talking about her husband?
Exactly. And so basically all the black men were the bad guys.
Yeah.
So during the 1910s and the 1940s, we got white supremacist groups like the KKK. We got white people lynching people, but we see none of that in this movie. And in fact, black men become the bad guy. What do you think of that?
What was the question? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
So I'll just be honest. I'm trying to point to the fact that, let me ask this. Do you think women would support The Color Purple if roles were reversed and the storyline was a male a black dude, and he was mistreated by all the black women in the movie. Do you think women would love that movie?
Yes, they would, but on a different perspective. Like they wouldn't. They like. I feel like now the way people are watching the movie is like, as a woman, that they see the woman get mistreated, but if they see the women being like the ones in power, basically, they would enjoy that too.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying so if the movie was different, women would enjoy being in power and mistreating black men.
Mistreated, yeah.
Okay, so then you don't like the fact that the white people are pretty much the good guys. Like all the white men in this movie are good during the time of 1910 to 1940. There's no bad white men because even the ones that lock him up, the mayor. But what happened to the mayor? What happened to his wife?
His wife
Got punched.
She got punched and she sent I don't remember her name, to jail. And then when she got out of jail, she sent her to work for her afterwards.
Right.
So she was bad too, as a white lady.
I would agree on a certain extent, but even let me ask you this: let's say the mayor and his wife were black. Mm-hmm. You think the mayor's wife getting punched, everybody would have been like, "Oh, it's okay."
No.
Exactly. No. So that's why I say I don't really see them as bad because she didn't have to punch the mayor's wife.
No.
So I don't, and it's just like you said, white people had the power. But that's my point. I don't think that. Do you think that it's good for the black community to see black men as the enemy of the community?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. And I don't think I interviewed kids too, and we don't consciously view the movie that way, but I think that's why we should like talk about movies and books that we read. What do you think of that?
I think that stuff like that got more impact than we think.
Yeah.
Like like nobody really looked at it like that. Like
yeah.
But
now
subconsciously, it really got more impact than you really think.
Yeah, because I know you've heard of Kevin Samuels, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm bringing it up, because a lot of times black men are seen as the enemy, especially if we are poor working class black men. So that's why I don't think subconsciously Color Purple would help.
Yeah, right.
That make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Because this podcast, I know you don't know this, y'all. I asked her to do this on a random. I just saw her. I was like, "Hey, you seen The Color Purple?" Yeah. So my channel's called the Black Family Institute, and I like do these interviews to like get the black community to like think about what's going on in the world, including the media and real life.
Right.
So,
yeah. Okay.
So that's why I wanted to interview you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy Thursday. Welcome back to On the Shoulders of Giants. I am Joseph Ward, and we are back in the Dean's office with Dean Rodney Smith, a.k.a. Heavy Hooks, for these heavy thoughts that we getting into today, because we diving deep into The Color Purple. So I went and saw this movie for y'all. I did not want to go see this movie. I'm going to just start off with that. I did not want to go see this movie. I went to go see this movie for y'all so we can get a good breakdown of it. I didn't like the first version. And this one, it was good acting. So now, it was. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was a good project that was put together. But we got to talk about the concepts within the movie. The commentary, Rodney, that you provided us, I thought it was good commentary, and especially coming from a young black boy, contrasting that with a black woman. Mm-hmm. So what made you contrast those two ideas for this audio?
I wanted to do that to show the differences in perspective and what each person takes to the movie and what they'll take away from it. And I think I did a good job of that.
Yeah.
Because I was totally shocked, but then it made sense when I asked her, would she like a movie if the antagonist was the black female? That's what really got me. And she was like, yes, we would love it because we would get to abuse black men. And I thought about it quickly and I was like, wow, you're right. You're probably right. That's probably how y'all would look at it. And that's sad.
Well, think about it. I would say, because the way they present it is not outright abuse, but think about the reception of the woman king from black women, the reception of Wakanda Forever, the reception of these movies where black women are these action heroes, and especially when black men are the antagonists. You know,
Right.
They may not get a grand reception from the world, but from our community, from women in our community, not all, but the women who subscribe to these ethnicist thoughts and this white supremacist thoughts, well, they show up in droves.
For real. But in this case, we would be actually abusing them if the roles were reversed, because what Mr. was doing to, you know, his wife and his kids, that was terrible abusive stuff.
Well, also think about the following that Cynthia G has or had. You know, because think about her rhetoric talking about deleting unborn black male babies. And with her saying that, her platform grew.
Yes. That's an excellent connection.
Yeah.
So talk about her for the people that don't know who Cynthia G is. Can you tell them so they understand what we're talking about?
So basically, if you don't know, Cynthia G is a former YouTuber. I'm not sure what she does now. Her platform was demonetized because of her content. What I just explained, her basically encouraging black women to, if you get pregnant by what she called a dusty, and it's a black male baby, you get rid of it. And so she calls herself a divester, and the divester community are black women who are done with black men and they want to date white men, and they are recruiting as many black women as possible to date white men with them. Hold on. So this one cut off.
It was actually a white woman from Chicago. They got her platform demonetized.
The irony with Cynthia G is, you know, like you said, she was deplatformed by a white woman. She originally blamed her deplatforming on black men. And then the evidence came out that a white woman deplatformed her. So that was interesting. But that is, you know, an example of black women flocking to what they perceive as power, especially if the black man is seen as the antagonist. And once again, not all black women, but the black women who subscribe to this mindset. Because that's one thing we're doing in this video is debunking the idea of all black men or all black women. We're not saying that, but we are talking about the ones who subscribe to these crazy mindsets. That's what we're talking about. So,
right. And as you can see in the audio, I'm not trying to put down the young lady on the audio nor the young males on the video. I'm just trying to highlight what people think about these topics.
Right. So what was interesting though is you asked both the young man, and he was 12 years old, correct?
Correct. So
the 12-year-old and the 22-year-old, 10-year gap. And you asked them, what did you like about the movie? And both of them, the first thing they said, like most people, the music. I thought that was very interesting, that was the best thing or the thing that they liked the most from this movie. I'm hoping that's a good thing, that the effect that the original Color Purple had as far as demonizing black men, I'm hoping that it doesn't come from this one. You know, because people still hate Danny Glover. Like black women died hating Danny Glover.
Hey, I want to touch on what you said about the music, because think about how much poison is sold to us in the music. I think that's very powerful. That's the first thing they all say. Even my family members, that's what they say. And that's what they use to sell us poison through the hip hop and everything, man. It captures us.
Well, you know what? That's a great point. That's a great point in using the musical to reinforce the ideas or the messages that they did put out in the first one. But what's a better way to reinforce it is to use music. That's a great point, because pictures and sound is how we learn.
Yes, facts. Symbols.
That's amazing. So so that was a great point that she was talking about, that black women would want to see themselves in power. I thought that was excellent that she said that, and you didn't coax her to say that. That's what she thought.
Right.
So, but the black male image. So original Color Purple that was put out in 1989. You hit on you asked great questions in that too, because you talked about this was the early 1900s, between 1910 and 1940, and the predominant antagonists were black men. And we know, like, this is during the era of the rise of the KKK and Jim Crow and all these things. So the black, like, all black men are demonized because of this.
That's exactly what happened. I found out. That's why I asked. But nobody finds this odd. Like nobody in my family finds it odd. I'm like, come on, y'all.
That is a good question, because we know we got the history to show at this time that white men were greater, terror to black people, period, but black women than black men at that time. Now, we're not trying to say that domestic violence did not happen.
Right. Yeah, that's not the point. Correct.
Right. But what we are saying is this, we're pushing back to say that this is the predominant story of black men then, and this is the predominant story of black men now, because we got stats to prove that. Especially that is the dominant story now. But the black male image has to be repaired. So how do you, as a black male teacher, being in the classroom, black male students, black female students, how do you go about, or do you even consciously think about the image of the black male and how to work on repairing it with such young students?
Oh, that's a great question. That's the first time I was asked it, but yes, I'm cognizant of that all the time, especially when things are not going right in the classroom. I try my hardest not to turn into a big monster, because I'm 6'7", 265 pounds. It's easy to be an angry black man monster to these kids, but I'm aware that I'm an English teacher and I should probably use my words in a articulate way that 11 and 12-year-olds can understand,
right,
and not result to profanity and some type of hood talk. So I'm very aware of the image and how I dress, how I interact with my peers in front of the students, because I want them to see a good example of a black man. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to be angry, because I want them to know that I'm human too, and that I'm upset.
Right.
And that when I'm upset, it's okay to say, hey, I'm upset, I'm disappointed. But I don't have to call you out of your name and use foul language.
Right. No, I'm with you. But I'm glad that you are cognizant of that, because, like I said, our image has to be repaired. And really, I think it's the guest in the house analogy. When you have a guest in your house and they spill something or they make it dirty, like, no matter what, they might have done it, but it's on you to clean it up.
Right. Facts.
So we do have to clean up our image. We do have to make sure that we are dealing with the men who are further degrading our image, but also we got to fight back against narratives that are continuously making us look bad, because we know these are narratives that come from racist white America.
Yeah,
that's where they originated. And once again, black men in America have never had the power to oppress black women.
Thank you. Never.
And if you think so, tell me the time and the place and who gave us the power.
For real, I'll wait too.
Right. Because if you think about that, white supremacists have all the power in America, had all the power during that time. So whatever time you choose, you have to show us how power was transferred from white men to black men. So, yeah. But so also this, so let's talk about these characters. Let's get into these characters, man. Which characters, I want to ask this question first. Which character stood out the most to you?
Which character stood out to me? I mean, it's the Danny Glover character. I forgot the guy who plays him. Yeah. It's always that character. I mean, he comes in the new movie. He comes in riding on, I think, a mule. I think that's what it is, and I think that represents black women, because it seems similar to Their Eyes Are Watching God, where the mule was symbolized as the black woman, was a symbol of the black woman. And he's playing a banjo. And I think that symbolizes that somehow black men are making black women dance to black men's tune. And we have black women weeping and all just the horrendous things that this character does. He stands out the most to me.
Gotcha. Same for me. Same for me. I'm not, aside from my critique of the total movie and the messages, dude did a hell of a job.
Oh yeah, facts. Both of them, Danny and him.
Right. But that's the good and the bad about it. Because he did such a good job that you're gonna have a whole nother generation most likely not like him. Same thing like Danny Glover. Danny Glover put his foot in that role.
He did.
I thought Deion Cole, he did a great job too. I thought his character kind of stood out to me. At first, I didn't recognize him. I didn't know that was Deion Cole, and I looked like Deion Cole. But also think about the characters they played, because Deion Cole was her father, was Celie's father, and the Mister guy, he was Mister. Mm-hmm. And so Mister, because let's be real. Let's point out the real antagonist in this. It was Mister. It was Celie's father, Mister's father, and Sophia. We're not going to forget about Sophia. We're not going to forget about the treatment that Harpo received. But we're going to get back to that. We're going to come back to that. So, but let's start with Celie's father, right? Because the way they set it up. So Celie's father is abusing her. She produced 2 children from the abuse. Mm-hmm. And he's taking the children away. And she is basically just a birthing stock or a pleasure, whatever for him. I'm trying to be PC, but a pleasure tool for him. And of course, they're not using birth control, so she gets pregnant and takes the baby away. Like, what do you think? What type of impression do you think that would leave on young black girls looking at young black boys growing into young black men, and even black men, period?
That we're worthless, no good abusers, that we don't need to be trusted. We don't need to be around you. If we're going to do stuff like that, if all black men are like that, there's no way you need to be around black women, which is, I think, the message that, people want the community to have. Yeah.
Now, what's interesting, you say that. I watched the video earlier, and it might have been yesterday or earlier today, but the dynamic was the question that was asked, is it weird for a stepfather, let's say the stepdaughter has to go on a volleyball trip or some kind of sports trip. Is it weird for just her and the stepfather to go on that trip? Like, he take her. And the consensus was, yes, it's weird. He shouldn't be doing that. And the idea was automatically he's going to do something to her, even though they were verbalizing. Well, I'm not saying that he's going to do something to her. I'm just saying it's just weird. Why? Well, why is it weird for, and the guy asked the question, why is it weird for the guy who lives in the house with her to not be able to go on a road trip with her? Well, we know the answer to that. Let's not act like we don't know the answer to that. We know the answer to that. What it goes back to saying a woman isn't safe in a house full of men. But we forget about Antoine Fisher.
Right. Nobody wants to talk about Antoine Fisher. That was a hell of a movie right there.
Hell of a movie. I watched it last week. Great movie. Great movie. So,
but you're right about that. But when you said it, didn't even sound weird to me, because I was raised by my stepfather, and if I was a female, I don't think it would have been weird for him to take me to my game, and neither would my mom, because I didn't grow up with those thoughts that people have, like a mister. Like, I didn't.
Right. But what's also, realistic about that is nobody will have a problem with a young black boy going on a trip with his stepfather or even a stepmother. Nobody will have a problem, even though statistics show that young black boys and young black girls have the same likelihood of being assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
but it's okay, like, because I guess it's okay for the young black boys because either that they're gonna like it or people just think it's just not gonna happen. And
Yes, both. But both of those are the number one answers.
which is
We
crazy.
need to have a show on that.
Sure do. Sure do.
Lord.
Sure do. So what other characters kind of stood out to you? Or what other parts of the movie kind of stood out to you?
The other part that stood out was the punching of the mayor's wife and how people view the mayor's wife and the mayor as some type of bad guy for that. Because I don't care what the color was, something similar like that would have happened if some citizen punches the mayor's wife. Like I just don't see that being glossed over. So that stood out. The fact of Mr. doing all of that open flirting in front of his wife stands out. And of course, Harpo's treatment and his upbringing stands out, and his treatment of Sophia.
Well, so let's dive into that. Let's go ahead and dive into that because I thought you could juxtapose Harpo and Celie. Celie was abused her whole life. Harpo came from an environment where he was taught to abuse. Harpo he rejected those teachings. He was a meek person.
Mm-hmm.
He marries Sophia, he gets with Sophia, and Sophia is verbally demeaning him until they come to the confrontation where Celie encourages him to be like Mr. and she punches him. She beats him down. But was she, I can kind of see an argument for self-defense in that. But let's talk about the verbal abuse that Harpo experienced from Sophia. Like that has to be recognized. That has to be looked at. That was complete. Nobody even talked about that in the first movie.
Nah, nobody ever wants to talk about that because our focus is supposed to be on the negative side of black men.
Right, like we're always the villain, always the villain. And another thing that I thought that I was thinking about when I was watching the movie is really the movie depicted three men with that DV spirit. Mr.'s father and Celie's father. So the rest of the men in that town, the way the movie was depicted, they were not depicted as violent men towards women. And I thought that's interesting that, okay, so such a small percentage of these men in this particular time in this town represent all black men. And when we saw other black men who didn't exhibit those behaviors, so can we get the same, not all black women grace that they get? Can we get that for black men, not all black men? Because we know all black men, because matter of fact, if you look at domestic violence stats, they talk about, because like I said, I did DV prevention for a while. And one of the things we talked about is 15% of the men are committing the crimes. So we're working to get this 85% to be allies toward women, but there's always been a small percentage of men who have been broad stroke to represent the majority.
Yeah.
So matter of fact, so I have some intimate partner violence stats from Department of Justice, I believe.
I bet.
Let's see. Yeah, U.S. Department of Justice. And this is talking about, so from between 1994 and 2010, there was a stark decrease in intimate partner violence. A stark decrease. So in 94, the rate of DV was 9.8. By 2000, 5.1, 2005, 3.8, 2010, 3.6. And then it gets into like negative percentages in this top part, but we know it ain't negative percentages, but basically what it's showing is, yes, females experience what? Because females experience or is reported a higher rate of DV.
Right.
Right. It's reported, it's recorded. But there was a stark decrease. So something was happening between, or start campaigns, good campaigns happening between 1994 and 2010 to have a great decrease in the rate of DV. Now, that's not breaking it down by race either. That's just saying overall in America. Overall in America, DV declined. If we break it down by race, of course, we can still see the decline in that. And I'm reading those because the idea, once again, is that we're debunking is the majority of men did this. No, the majority of men did this. It was always a small percentage of men, but that small percentage was broad stroke. And the color purple helped put that broad stroke out there, open them.
For real. And people ran with it like it was the truth. Like Mr. was real.
Right.
That is the image that pops in people's head if you suggest, like you said, that somebody's stepfather or uncle or male cousin take a female family member or friend somewhere they need to go. That's what pops in their head.
Right, right. But that's the conditioning of the gynocracy.
Mm-hmm.
Being in a gynocentric community, gynocentric culture. Black men, so being as specific and realistic as possible. So black people are more egalitarian than white people. So black societies going back to Africa, even before white contact, it had more of an egalitarian feel. There was more of a balance between black men and women. Yeah, you still had black male rulers and you still had gender roles, but it was more egalitarian. So black people are like that. We're more egalitarian. So throw in racism and throw in the government giving black women the lift that they give. So now we have an imbalance. So this egalitarian society is imbalanced. Now we have a gynocracy that's defined as a patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
But when did black men have the time and the power and the ability to set up a patriarchy? And when and how? And if you say, well, we benefit from the white man patriarchy, well, explain to us how we benefit from it.
Right, because most of the lethal violence goes towards the black men and not black women.
I'm just saying. So it also takes me back to a video I just saw earlier today, but it was an older video of a black woman basically saying, what have black women done so bad to black men to make us not want to protect them? What went wrong with black men and black women? And, you know, of course, she asked the question and she got the answers. You know, there are a lot of things. The government taking government assistance. That was one of the main things that really broke up the family. But also being a part of spreading false narratives about black men. Not all black women, but Alice Walker and Oprah and all these other people that are part of spreading false narratives about the majority of black men. We're not saying don't tell your individual stories. We're not saying don't put those men out who are doing these things, because they need to be called out and we need to jump them and bash them over their head. We need to.
Right. But just like that movie, they didn't have to remove the biggest historical piece, which was white supremacy, and put all the negative stuff on black men. That's just not right. It paints a different picture because we all know that people consume more entertainment-based media than, academic type stuff. So this is really going to have an impact on how we view each other. Right.
And if you look at it from a power-based standpoint, Mr. didn't have any real power.
No.
Remember, Mr. only had power over Celie, and we came to find out because she allowed it. Nobody else took Mr. serious. Celie was the only one that he could dominate, and it was her personality. It was her history. She was conditioned to be this subservient person. So that's why he was able to dominate her. But the fact that she was able to leave him, stand up to him and leave him, that shows that she was not oppressed. She was dominated. She was abused, but she was not oppressed. You can't leave oppression.
That's what I was about to say. Good point. You can't leave oppression. Good one, man.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Yeah. So comparison and contrast to this Color Purple to the last Color Purple, like what are some things that you thought connected, well, not even connected to two movies, but helped to, how did you feel this new version helped to continue to reinforce some of the negative stereotypes from the old? Like, and aside from using the music and things like that, like what else in the movie did you feel like, okay, this is something that's significant?
To reinforce a negative stereotype, I mean, by keeping the plot basically the same with the black male antagonist and refusing to put any of the white historical stuff in there. To me, that's because it's basically the same movie with upgraded visuals and music and sound.
Okay.
So I think I just really think they should have put more historical stuff in there and not make black men the main antagonist. I just don't think that was right. It just paints the wrong picture.
Right. Especially with no context.
None. We don't see no lynchings, no KKK, no housing discrimination. Mr. has his own house, his own farm. Not many black people had that. I think this is big because then it makes us think that, yes, black men were these powerful oppressors. If this black man back in the 1910s owns his own house and controls his own domain, controls Silly, like, what? No, this is like, that's an outlier. The majority of us in the South, we're not living like Mr. with this symbolic power that he had. But it goes to support the idea that black men were oppressing black women.
Right. Now that's a good point. That's a great point. The timing of the movie. Why choose to put this movie out in the middle of all this turmoil going on between black men and black women? Why do that? Because I've had women who I've had conversations who left those conversations telling me I hate black women. Even those women asked me, why do you think they put this movie out at this time knowing what's going on with black men and black women? Hey, Oprah, why you did that?
This is the perfect time. It would have been even better if they could have did it when Kevin Samuels was still alive. That would have been even more perfect to me, because the conversation about this is like really heating up with the gender war and all of that. So I think if it could have came out back then, it would have been even more perfect timing to bash black men.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying. It's the perfect time for them to continue to pile on black men.
Yeah,
top down, yeah. And to me, it's them Hollywood bougie, boule Negroes being messy and stirring the pot. You're stirring. You know what's going on. You see. Look, man. If you wanna get views on YouTube, talk about relationships.
Right. Fact.
And you don't even have to know what the hell you talk about. Go to TikTok, find good clips and put them on and say some stuff that just kind of support the clip being done, and you in there.
For real.
That's male and female. Because you have your Cynthia G's, then you have your black red pill fools. I don't even know who these cats are because I don't even watch them, right? But you have your black red pill fool or fresh and you got your Cynthia G's and you got your Fresh and Fits. I mean, both sides. So neither black men or black women have clean hands in this.
Facts.
But we do know that black women have help in this, and it ain't black people.
No, it ain't.
It's the establishment. We need each other. We're not each other's enemies.
Yes.
We have to understand that.
Yes, that's so the truth.
So do any of your female students look at black men as the enemy at their young ages that you know of?
I don't think so. Now I haven't gotten that. Now, when I was teaching high school about 3 or 4 years ago, yes, and we had these discussions, and they were literally saying black men are oppressing black women. So I had to take them through it, and they finally got to see, like, well, dang, you're right. Well, where is this power black man got to oppress black women?
Yeah.
Like, where the black CEOs at that's doing employment discrimination? Where are the black people in the housing market that's discriminating against black women trying to get houses or loans? Where are the loan officers at in financial institutions? And they finally got to see by the time we were done, they were like, I see what you're saying, Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
I need to rethink this. But
Don't
initially, yes, they thought like we were the enemy.
Don't let the actions of Jermaine and those folks, because remember last week's video, Prince Ella tried to frame the people living in the projects, their behavior as the constant behavior of black people throughout Black America. Right.
Yeah.
So this is another thing that's happening, is constant framing of this is all people. So we're going to take the lowest common denominator. We're going to take the behavior of Jermaine and say this is what all black men do. But also at the same time, black women, you have to take your accountability for choosing to be with these dudes. You know, we looking at Kendra G clips. He was toxic. He was this. He was that. I felt he wasn't good enough to marry, but I had 2 or 3 kids from him.
With him. Yeah.
That don't make no sense.
No.
And then you're jaded from that, and now you're projecting it on all black men. I mean, I didn't do it.
And it's been a cultural habit to critique black men's thoughts and behaviors and not theirs. So it's so shocking to them. I think that's what, Kevin showed, is that it was a lot of things we haven't culturally thought of and implemented so that we can, get the change that we need. Instead, we were just doing what we wanted and listening to outside people that wasn't really helping us and wasn't really for us.
Yes. You know what thought you just gave me, though?
What's that?
And we don't have to do it immediately because we can do a couple more videos, but we should review Shahrazad Ali's book, The Black Male Guide to Understand, The Black Woman's Guide to Understand. We should review that book. That's
a good one. I'm with you on that.
Because
you have a copy you can send me so I can read it too?
I get you one.
All right, bet.
I get you one. Because when you talked about the analyzation of black men, that's one thing she talked about. Black women have never been analyzed. At that point, especially in the early 90s, black women weren't analyzed. Of course, it's more analyzation now because us men have these spaces to analyze. Don't listen to everybody. Once again, the reason why I like to listen to you, I like to listen to Tierson Johnson, BGS Ibmore, Dr. Tommy Curry, is they're backing it up with scholarship. You're backing it up with scholarship. You're not just telling me how you feel about a situation. What's the scholarship that goes with this? What's the critical thinking behind it versus you giving me a reaction based off of how you feel from this clip?
Right. That's why I love those guys too. I read. We need to review some of Dr. Tommy Curry stuff. I love reading him.
We do. If y'all, matter of fact, that'll be one of our next videos.
Okay, bet. I'm with that.
Yeah.
I love reading Dr. Tommy Curry.
Yeah, because through you and Dr. Tierson Johnson, that's how I learned about Tommy Curry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because before I met you, I didn't know who he was.
Okay.
So start watching a lot of his content. So I do need to read some of his content, but I start watching a lot of his content. So talking about the black male studies, and if you're not familiar, Dr. Tommy J. Curry is an advocate for black men. And did he create black male studies?
Yep, he created it. Yep.
Okay, and so that is us being able to learn what's happening to black men in America. Like, how did the system of white supremacy negatively affect us outside of people accusing us of having white supremacy oriented masculinity? Hey, so that made me think. That made me think because that boy reminded me of the Conscious Lee dude. Are you familiar with?
Yes, he don't like Tommy Curry.
I bet he don't, because he foolish.
Yes, he hates him.
So let's talk about, because this is in conjunction to the image of black males, the brick gate, the brick lady.
Mm-hmm.
So two loud black male voices that I've heard that still defending her, Consciously and Dr. Umar.
That's what I was hoping. Yep. We're on the same page. Yep.
consciously had to end up apologizing and eating his words. Did you see the apology
No,
video?
I didn't see that.
So
If you got it, you got to send it to me.
it was. I have to find it on YouTube. It's in my YouTube history. I have to find it and send it to you. But if you don't know, basically, when the black lady said the guy hit her in the face with the brick because she didn't want to give him her number. She went out on the internet, basically said black men aren't protecting me. Black men don't protect black women. That started the shitstorm on the internet, and of course, everybody going in on black men. Well, not everybody. A good number of people going in on black men, but some people said, "Hold up, wait, let's get some evidence. Let's think about this." She's been hit in the face with the brick, and she has a hematoma. Bricks don't do that. So, okay, let's think about this. We watched boxing matches, right? Where somebody can get cut above the eye getting hit with a boxing glove. So she gets hit with a brick in her face. There's no lacerations, no cuts, just swelling.
Yeah, no bruising.
No, that's not what happened. That don't happen like that, right? Not getting hit with a brick, a blunt object, a brick, right? And then there was no evidence. There was no surveillance showing that she was hit with the brick. All the surveillance showed was her hitting a man and he hitting her back with a water bottle in the face. Also, before she was hit with the brick, she went into a club with the ski mask on, insinuating that she already had the whatever in her face. So weeks passed. So she starts a GoFundMe, raises $40,000. This is the second time she's done that. She's raised a cumulative of over $75,000. Daphne Sutton, the celebrity, shout out to Daphne. She got on and did her research, come to find out. Daphne plus a whole other people come to find out she was lying. So she is now been locked up. The feds got her. Consciously had to redact everything he was saying and admit that he was wrong, and he had to apologize and admit he was in his feelings. Umar, on the other hand, is saying we still, paraphrasing, we still need to protect her. We need to forgive her. Something still happened, all these different things, the pandering Umar does. And it's sickening because I don't believe he should be teaching young black boys if you're going to be pandering.
For real.
What are you teaching us? That it's always our fault when something goes. Well, yeah, because he said it. Whenever we're responsible for black women's bad behavior.
Yeah, I totally disagree with that. Yeah. I don't need my son hearing that. What? That ain't something I want to teach my sons.
We all grown.
Right.
Because are you telling me that women are dumber than us, or like they slow or something? They have some kind of mental something that keeps them behind us? Because if you're telling me that, then okay, then we can give them these exceptions. But if you're gonna tell me that women are intelligent, women are brilliant, all these different things, because I know women aren't mentally impaired. I know that. Right. So women are capable of being responsible for their own actions.
Say hi.
What's up, man? What's up? But like you're saying, so y'all, he don't need to listen to Umar. I'm not saying that.
Don't listen to Umar, right? We don't listen to Umar, do we? No.
Not saying that stuff. And so because it's damaging to paint a picture that, first of all, it's always black men's fault when anything goes wrong in the black community, and black women have no fault in where we are as a people. And I keep saying it's a 50-50 thing. Black men got 50% of the blame, black women got 50% of the blame.
Right. And my thing is, if it's always our fault, then we'll never fix the black community then, because it's impossible for it to be our fault. You can't fix a community if it's all one person's fault, because it's a false premise. Like,
right.
You get what I'm saying? Because my thing is, that means if black men were perfect, the community would still always be broken, because you got your other half that needs to be fixed too.
Right. So, but we see that though. We see, okay, black women all my life said black men ain't shit. All my life, right?
Yeah.
I just turned 40, so 40 years I've been hearing that. Right? And so we did see black men, especially around the 90s, getting their stuff together.
Fact.
So when we go look at statistics and see that black men aren't doing as bad as advertised, we're still doing worse than other men, but we're not doing as bad as advertised. But that's by design. That's by structural white supremacy. Because black women are also doing worse than all other women. Matter of fact, black women are doing worse than everybody except Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
But that's by design.
By design.
You know, so the idea that we are the only tyrants, we're the only problem, we are the only ones that are holding us down and bringing us down. No, black men got their stuff together. 54, they said 54% of black men are in the middle class. That's so we don't most of us, at least half of us, more than half of us don't have children out of wedlock. You know, we're making at least $40,000. I mean, it's not my job to pay for your trips and your lashes and your stuff. It's not my job to do that.
It's not.
That's not provision. So, yeah, man. So, before we close this out, what are your final thoughts on just overall the Color Purple movie and the negative messages, or what message will you have to black men who maybe have saw this movie or haven't saw this movie, but are aware of the negative images and the negative messages of men? What message would you give to those black men?
We need to watch this movie as families and break it down like me and On the Shoulders of Giants just did, so that your families know what's being put in the media that is creating this negative image of our community. And so you can see how powerful multimedia is. When you put music and visual and words together, it has a magnificent impact on our conscious,
Right,
and how we view things. So we have to watch this and then analyze it as families and communities. If not, you'll have no clue, you know, why you're reacting the way you are to real people that don't deserve the negative treatment that you may be giving them, because you've been conditioned to do this, conditioned to think about black men in these negative ways.
Yeah.
So if we don't do this as a family and as a community, we're just hurting ourselves, because you can be captured by the visuals and the music of this film.
Look, the negative images of black men affected us as well. It affects black men as well. We look at each other as bad people.
Thank you.
You know, which is not a good thing. It's not good for black men to have the mindset of, wow, I am a predator. I am a problem.
Yes, I agree with that, man.
You know, feminism have a lot of men saying that about them. Men ain't did nothing, but they're like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a bad person. Are you a bad person, or are there bad men out here who are giving all of us a bad rap?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I just seen this recently. You know who Country Wayne is?
Yeah.
He was on Shannon Sharp, and he said, and other people say, you know, men are stupid. I'm tired of that narrative. We're not stupid. We're not.
Yeah.
You know, so what you're saying is so true.
Yeah, that trope, that the dumb husband trope.
Yeah.
I saw a video. I saw a man reinforcing that, when basically he can't find the ketchup without his wife. I can't find my size. I can't get dressed. What do you think I was doing before I met you?
Right.
So come on now, don't like so you as a woman, you really married a man who can't put his clothes on. What that say about you?
Right.
One last thing, I encourage people to buy and read the book Toms, Coons, Mulattoes, Mammies, and Bucks by Donald Bogle. It's basically a history of black cinema in America and how a lot of these tropes have were created, how cinema and the media was used as negative propaganda against black people, and just an overall history of, and they take you through the decades and through the times of showing you how black people were perceived through the media. Once again, and I put the link in the description. It's Tom, Coons, Mulattoes, Mammies, and Bucks by Donald Bogle. So make sure you get a copy of that. I read that in college. I did a history of black cinema class, and we read that book. I gave the book to one of my homies, but I got to get me another copy of that. It's a real good book. So link in the description. Make sure you all subscribe to the Black Family Institute. If you haven't already, you missing out on a lot. Hey, me and you got to talk about Kobe and LeBron. We got to have that discussion.
Oh, yeah, bet.
I like where you're going. That we're gonna have that one offline. All right. Kobe and LeBron, because I got what you were saying. I ain't gonna lie. I rock with Kobe, but I don't disagree with what you're saying about LeBron. So
all right, hold on. Let me say something on camera. I don't know if I said this on the video, but I think a lot of people think LeBron is worse because aesthetically he doesn't look good when he plays.
well, okay, so I had this debate with my brother. Me and my brother have this debate all the time. So the idea is LeBron isn't on LeBron is soft. And LeBron is soft because he don't have the Mamba mentality or the Jordan mentality. And my argument is his career average is 27, 7, and 7. He's the all-time leading scorer. He's in the top 5 in rebounds, top 5 in assists. How do you do that? And he just dropped 36 the other day. The man is 39, 40 years old. He just dropped 36, triple-double with 20 rebounds the other day. How do you do that and you soft?
You can't.
Once again, y'all controlling the narrative. If LeBron doesn't fit this archetype, if a man doesn't fit this archetype, he's soft. That's man. You know what? Yeah, we're gonna get into that. That's another conversation.
Yeah, we should do a whole show on that.
Yes. So let me write this down because we got to do
the sports edition.
Yep, you got to do Tommy Curry. You got to do the sports edition, and you said something else. We need to do a show on. I can't remember.
I can't either.
But I wrote down the Tommy. Oh yeah, we did talk about Shahrazad Ali.
Yeah, there it is. That was it.
All right, so yeah, Tommy Curry, do the sport because black male image in sports and how we have to be violent to be good because I would pick Kobe over LeBron for my team, and that's just me. But it makes me damn mad to hear people try to tell me that LeBron is soft. That man ain't soft. Stop that. He don't have to fit the mold that you want him. He doesn't have to be like Jordan.
Right.
He averaged 27, 7, and 7. Who does that?
Scored more points than anybody.
You can't be soft and do that. Stop trying to put people in these categories, man. But yeah, we're gonna extend that conversation. Once again, man, I greatly appreciate you. Black Family Institute link to subscribe to his channel is in the description. Make sure you do it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to his own Shoulders of Giants channel. Let's keep running both channels up. Let's make both channels grow. We're gonna keep these collaborations going like we do. So see y'all next time.